What's going on, everybody? It's DotBets. We're checking back in with the NFC and the AFC championship game matchups with the betting, props, and we'll do some DraftKings lineups today, this morning. So let's dive right into it. As you can see, this is my full action page here. See the recent decline a little bit, and then we moving our way back up as of lately, the last couple weeks or so. We've bet a lot of NBA, and we've done a couple college basketball, getting into NHL with a couple of weeks in there. So we're looking to build that up. Don't forget, check out the merch store in the chat. Also, VIP group, DM me for details. $15 a week, $60 a month. So DM me for details if you want to hit join the group, and we will get started today. So two very, very unbelievable matchups we have today in the NFL. And first, we will go over the Packers-Bucks game. That game probably will be one of my favorites. Let's go to the outlook here. All right. So this game is going to all come down to Rodgers handling the Bucks pressure. That happened in the first game. Follow me on Twitter. You know I just collabed with at Side Guy Picks. We are taking the Packers -3. So we're buying the half point here, just because you don't want to get screwed on a field goal. Buying them for 2 units for me, so it brings the juice like -118. I still think this is a game that should be controlled by the Packers. I'm also going to be on their first half team total over 13.5 points. They start out hot, and the Bucks are known to play from behind. In that first meeting, the Packers were up 10-0, and then all the wheels fell off for Rodgers. I think that was like 38-10, something like that, the final score there. Definitely will be a different game today in regards to how the Packers come, they're going to have to throw the football. And what I think they need to utilize is those quick pass plays, because they're going to face Bulls defense with a bunch of pressure and a bunch of a blitz. So as you can see, go through one of these articles on action. Love going through here to get some definitely good information. So let's go to so this is +3 analysts, but I like to go to the -3. So here, if we look at this stat right here, highlighted, Rodgers, Tampa Bay is not. So this holds a little bit truth to it, but you're 29-10-1, 74% winning percentage when Rodgers plays in temperature colder than 32 degrees. Take with that what you want. I think that's just an additional piece that you can put in your head to say, okay, let's take the Packers. This is probably the more beneficial stat here. So the home team has won and covered the spread in all 3 matchups involving Rodgers and Brady. That's very specific. That's very, very specific to this matchup, instead of just saying colder weather, because they could have played ass teams in there. So 10-4 against the spread dating back to 2013, and that's the home teams in conference championship games. So they're 10-4 against the spread. That's pretty damn good. And I get it. Brady's the GOAT. Brady's going to try his damnedest to, get the Bucks to Super Bowl and prove a point to the world that it wasn't just the New England Patriots. So I'm not going to touch the over/under in this game. I'm going to stay mainly to that spread, and I got a bunch of props that we can throw together and see if you guys like them. If you got any questions, hit me up in the chat with any DraftKings touchdown parlays, anything that you guys are thinking about spread wise. And like I said, we will be here till about 12 o'clock today. All right. So first prop bet that I like is going to be Aaron Rodgers over 279.5 pass yards. Okay. Like I said, the Bucs defense, it's a big piece back. It's like Vita Vey, big piece back. How effective he'll be, I have no idea. He hasn't played in a while. But like I said, Bowles is going to heavy blitz, and they're going to have to dump it off quick and get the ball out. But I also think they're going to air it. They have to air it out just to make it true. Last week against the Saints, the Bucs knew that Drew Brees could not throw it deep and would not. They held Thomas to 0 catches. This is going to be a different matchup. The Bucs will not be able to use that same defensive game plan as last week against them. So I expect the Packers to air it out today a lot. So Aaron Rodgers will probably be my favorite DraftKings play of the day. He's going to probably be the most low owned too, because people over Rodgers for some reason. So I'm going to be stacking Rodgers and Adams, and probably if I put in 20 lineups today, they're going to be in 15 of them at least. That whole stack. So I'm going to go heavy Packers here. Just think they have too much offense against this. They're just rolling at the right time. Aaron Jones is going to be able to get his passing yards. And I also think an X factor here is Robert Tonyan. He's going to be the red zone factor here, as well as Devontae Adams. So my two picks for Adams, we're going to go over 7.5 reception yards, and then we're going to go over 92.5 or receptions. Sorry, for over 7.5, and then over 92.5 for his receiving yards. So I'm expecting a humongous day from Devontae Adams. They basically need it. He's been their catalyst this entire year. I don't expect them to not dial up plays for him. But I'm also taking Robert Tonyan plus 150 anytime touchdown. That is in the red zone. He's probably the second biggest key. It probably goes Adams, then Tonyan, then Aaron Jones. There is some value if you want to take Williams, Jamal Williams, anytime touchdown. I think it's like plus 260. We can look. Let's go to DraftKings real quick. Let's see. In props. I want to say it is plus 260. They got this damn thing out of the way. Tonyan is plus 150. And then Jamal Williams. Oh, plus 285. So even more value. Plus 285 for Jamal Williams. He got stopped at the 1 yard line last week. And so if they score on the first drive, it's going to be either Jones or Adams. And then if they come back in the red zone on their second drive, Williams has a big time chance. And then in the second half, because him and Jones kind of, they separate series for whatever reason. They just won't let Aaron Jones be the featured back. Don't understand it. But Jones is plus 100, and then Adams is minus 182. So, Adams is minus 182 is kind of ridiculous for a receiver, but he's been that damn good this year in the red zone. And probably the one thing we'll need to figure out for the Bucs side of the football is how Rojo and Fournette are going to be used. Because if Fournette is going to be the feature back, his prop bets are awesome. You got to take them. Here, anytime touchdown, plus 175. Then you go down to his rushing yards, and 42.5. But if he's the lead back, he crushes that. He gets probably 60 or 70 easily. And then you go down to his receiving yards where's he at? Receiving yards over 22.5. I mean, he's been their playoff RB1 this entire time. So I expect Fournette to be that guy, but if Rojo takes anything away from him, he could not hit these. So I'm gonna probably wait to see a little bit more information if I can figure out through some beat writers or whatnot on Fournette in the Rojo situation. but those two definitely are in play. Or Fournette, those two. If if it ends up being him being RB1, he's 100%. I'm taking those prop bets. And then some other guys. So Cameron Brate and Rob Gronkowski, those two I could see on one catch having over 30-yard catch in this game. Rob was featured last week. If you guys watched that game at all, they were trying to get him the ball against those small linebackers, and I think they're going to do it again. I think they're going to force feed Rob this week, especially in the red zone. So his anytime touchdown is plus 220, so it's got humongous value to it. I'm going to put a stab on that as well. And then Cameron Brate, he's been another receiver for him to get down in the red zone. No AB, so one of these two are going to have to show up, because I think Godwin is going to have a solid day, over 5.5 receptions. That's a good one. But then Evans, I'm probably going to stay off of Evans just a little bit, because I think Alexander is going to be on him pretty heavily. I think might probably shadow him. So it's either going to be Godwin, Gronk, or Brate for me in the air. But watching the Saints Bucks game, Brady didn't play all that well. They were down for majority of that game, and their defense made all those plays. So I'm a little hesitant to go towards Brady. Over 289.5 seems pretty high. You could take the under there, but I think they're going to lean a lot of Fournette and a lot of Rojo this game. So that's how I'm feeling this Packers-Buck game. So going to go Packers -3, buying the half point, taking Packers first half team total over 13.5. I think they can get 2 touchdowns. And we will go ahead and go to the Chiefs-Bills game. Again, any questions, throw them in the chat. I will gladly answer them. We can go a different route if you guys want to go. And they're -3, and injuries are just it's crazy. And I think his foot is going to be the bigger one. I think he's going to be fine. Let me see. Bill spread, Chiefs spread. So the first matchup they play, 16, and I think this game is going to be a lot higher scoring than people think. One reason is because I think the Bills are going to be able to put up some points, and then the Chiefs, if the Chiefs are in scramble mode and have to come back, the over is 100% hitting. Both these teams defensively. The Bills have probably an edge when it comes to their secondary, but against this incredible offense of the Chiefs, it's hard to have an edge because there's so many people to guard in so many different areas. Kelsey over the middle, Kelsey post routes, then you got Tyreek deep routes, then you got Hardman deep routes, and then you have I think Watkins is going to be inactive today. If he is active, it's not going to be much. And then you got to worry about another thing is with Clyde Edwards-Helaire today. I don't know if he's going to be active. The consensus is that he's active, and then he will be the workhorse. If that's the case, I probably should hammer a lot of his props because he's going to be used often. If not, then you got Darrell Williams, because I think Le'Veon Bell is going to be out for this game, which is fine. He's been zero inactive. He's been horrible, really. His style of running just doesn't work anymore in the NFL. You can't be patient. You got to be, if you're going to be patient, you got to be like Kamara and hit those holes then and go. So definitely. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Chiefs -3. So let's go to the Chiefs game. I'm on the Chiefs, and then I'm on the Packers today to host the State Farm Super Bowl in February. So -3. for 109. So that's currently at on DraftKings. I think last night it was 3.5. So it's currently -3. Been seeing a bunch of money coming in on the Bucks and the Bills. So take that with a grain of salt. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm not really too worried about it. And then we'll go to some player props here. Josh Allen will probably be very, very highly owned in DraftKings, but I'm also going to take Allen anytime to score plus 135. The Chiefs have given up 14 rushing touchdowns on the year, and 7 of them have been at the quarterback position. Allen gets in the red zone. He's their RB1. They have only Singletary available, who has some value today for DraftKings. Kind of a free square like last week. He goes against a very, very weak run defense. So they could look to establish the run a little bit. But I think what they're going to do is let Josh Allen be an animal today. He's going to will his way. If they're going to win, it's going to be because of Josh Allen, 100%. So Josh Allen plus 135 is definitely a play here. Diggs minus 106. Love him today. I'm going to also take his over 94.5 receiving yards. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to feature Diggs and they're going to feature Allen like they've been doing this entire season. I don't think they're going to try to go crazy and do these crazy little trick plays, whatnot, to get down the field on these Chiefs defense. So also another play, you could also go over 54.5. I think this ends up being a higher scoring game than people believe, just because of the matchup before, with only a 32-point total. Some people could edge towards the under because of the Mahomes injury, but I think he'll be fine in regards to his foot. His damn arm's a rocket. I mean, he can do what he wants, but he just won't be able to scramble like normal. So could they lose a couple tries because of that? Maybe, but I'll bet on it that he doesn't. So let's see, one more in this game that I had. See, Josh Allen over. See, I think that's a little high. 305 for Allen, because I think there's going to be a lot of broken plays. I think he's going to rush. So let me see his rushing yards. 33.5. I'd take that over. Definitely, I'm probably going to take that. Over 33.5 rush yards. Like I said, he's going to try to will his way. Probably with his feet more than his arm today to get them in there. And then look at rush yards for Hilaire. Like if Hilaire is 100% and he comes back in, over 34.5 is a no-brainer. But you just don't know. So I'm not taking anything of Hilaire probably yet, and I'm not taking anything of Williams yet. But those two are definitely two plays that if you think you have an edge over who's going to play, grab those now, because you should easily get those probably in the first half. But then the receiving yards, Kelsey over 94.5 is pretty dang high. You can do the under there. But Diggs over 94.5 is my key right there. I definitely think he's going to have a huge game today. He needs to have it if the Bills want to have a chance of winning. Singletari's prop yards for rushing and receiving are there. I probably lean more on his rush yards today. To get 40 rushing yards on this defense, probably could do so. So Singletary and Allen rush yards against this weak defense definitely could do. Definitely could do. You guys have any props that you guys like? Throw them in the chat. Let me see what you guys are liking today. If not, that takes care of all the picks, and we'll go to DraftKings currently. So we'll go to our Fantasy Labs model, and you see Josh Allen is ranked number 1, then Aaron Rodgers, then Mahomes, then Brady. So Brady's got a 69 rating, and everyone else is in the 80s. That makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot of decisions regarding prop bets a lot easier when you see that information, because they don't think Tom Brady's going to be able to perform. We'll see. That's what I'm thinking. Probably Fournette will be higher up here. So he's the 4th. So it'll be, see, and then they have Hilaire as a 68, so they're probably banking on him playing. And then you got Singletary. I think Singletary is just like a free square. You throw him in there just because of the matchup he's got, and he's 4,500, so you can afford anybody else that you want. And he's got more upside than Jamal Williams and Darrell Williams, and then Rojo. Rojo at 46. So it's a very weak running back area for this slate. Very weak. I would say probably a lot of people are going to be Singletary and Jones for the most part. I'll sprinkle in Fournette a lot because I think he's going to be a catalyst if the Bucks are going to have a chance. Let's go to the wide receivers. Adams and Diggs. Yep. See, but the crazy part about playoff football is you're going to have like Allen Lazard. You're going to have MVS. You're going to have Hardman. You're going to have St. Brown. You're going to have these guys. Byron Pringle. Like one of those four are going to have a touchdown. Just out of strict game plan that someone's going to say, let's get this guy because he's going to be open because everybody's going to be focused on everybody else. So definitely, if you want to throw Hail Mary touchdown anytime on one of those four, go right ahead. I think there's some good value there. But you see Mike Evans is 72, so he's not at the top. That's probably because of Alexander being on him. Love Godwin today. I think he's going to have to be featured, especially without AB. Then you go to Beasley. I'll probably be off of Beasley just because of his knee. I think he ran like the same route for the whole last two games, so he hasn't done too much. And tight end, Tanyan. Like I said, Tanyan and Kelsey are probably going to be the highest owned. But then you also got Gronk and you got Bray. So this is a slate. I don't suggest playing double tight ends, but it's a slate where you could pick one of these guys and just go with them and have a humongous edge. Because I think a lot of people are going to be Tanyan and Kelsey, as you see this projection ownership 71 to 100. That's insane. But that's Kelsey. So if you don't want to pay up for Kelsey at 8,000, he's probably the highest rated pass receiver. He's with Devontae Adams, which is nuts. But Kelsey's just had that kind of a year where it's just a plug. So you could get another wide receiver one at the tight end position with there. So that's why I think a lot of people will go Kelsey. If you want to buy down, I would go Tanyan and then Gronk. Those would be my next two. So Tanyan and then Gronk. And then these, flip a coin here. Just correlate it with your lineups. If you have Mahomes as your quarterback, don't put Buffalo's defense in your lineup. Play one of Tampa Bay's or Green Bay's defense. So just flip flop it with the opposite of your quarterback, or play Kansas City with Mahomes. So it's a different way to go. So that's what I'll probably end up doing. Like I said, I'm probably gonna go 20 lineups this week and go Rodgers to Adams a bunch, and you could go Rodgers, Adams, Kelsey, tight end, or another way to differentiate yourself is to stack. One single game, a 5-2 or a 4-2, and then 4 from Green Bay, 2 from the Bucks, and then sprinkle the rest with the other game, or flip flop it. Do 4 from the Chiefs, 2 from the Bills, or 4 from the Bills, 2 from the Chiefs. So that's the way majority is going to you're going to get up in your lineups, is to stack. And then one other thing is, probably more than likely, if you're playing GPPs, play a wide receiver as your flex. Don't flex a running back. Don't flex a tight end. The biggest upside is as a wide receiver in your flex position. And then if you're playing cash, do a running back there. It's just the safest floor for it. So if you guys no other questions, we'll go ahead and get up on out of here, and I'll tweet out my official plays to everybody before the slate happens, so you guys can get them in. And good luck. If you guys don't have any other questions, I will get up on out of here. See you guys.
Friends try to tell me that I'm crazy. I should just